A couple of things. Since your team was supposed to think about formalism and some of the formal attributes of the game, can you analyze the segment, that video that you showed of the ending of the game? Just the visual cues that we're getting in the cutscene. What are some of your thoughts about that? I mean, your classmates might have some other questions or thoughts about that sequence, but the good ending. Can you guys talk about what was going on visually? What's going on from a narrative standpoint? How does it make you feel? What kind of atmosphere does it create? All of those things. Is it a good ending? Do you feel good about it? What was going on in that ending?
I mean, I was happy. I mean, when I wanted to save them, but honestly, I did think the good ending was cheesy as all hell.
Okay.
That they were like, now I can learn and get married and have kids, and I'm like, oh god. But I did think it was cool when he was in the hospital and you still never see his face, but he's known by that tattoo.
Right, and you see their hands too.
Right,
they get
and
older.
they all take his hand. That was pretty cool. I mean, it was nice that he saved them. The bad endings were basically just the thing comes up and there's a submarine trying to find the airplane, and a bunch of splicers come out of the thing and kill everyone. And it's like, you wouldn't be strapped on the world. Good job. Like, you're awful, but you still beat the game.
Why did you?
Yeah.
So does that ending help the little sister move from the realm of the uncanny to something that is not that, something that is good feeling? You guys are kind of convinced by that video sort of cutscene montage of their growth and humanity, really, because that's what it's focusing on?
I think that's the idea that she says you gave them a chance to live. Like, you gave them their humanity back because it was taken from them within Rapture.
So you guys are on board with that. Are you going to problematize, Anna? What are you thinking?
I was just wondering what the agenda of the game designers, like what it was. Like, are they conservative, like, you know, like really into the nuclear family kind of like people? Like, I don't know if you know that information, but I mean, all of those women had, or like people had, like wedding bands, etc. And
I did notice that.
And that was supposed to be the symbol of their growth, right?
Yeah.
Also, the wedding band is a symbol of their growth, their humanity, their integration into society.
Yeah.
So yeah, good point. I mean, we maybe won't know the kind of moral or ethical register of the developers, but at least the product itself speaks volumes in that regard. Right?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the like whole narrative of the game, the whole narrative of the game is like, I mean, it's obviously showing how an Ayn Rand style society can just fail horribly. So I don't know if you can really say that you know, the game managers were conservative because they all got married and all that sort of
It's
stuff.
a critical dystopia,
But
or offers.
I think that they spent a good portion of the game showing how, like, Ayn Rand's considered to be pretty hardcore conservative, how that doesn't work. So I don't think that the game developers were really thinking it that way.
But at least this piece with gender is kind of still curious, right? This piece with the little sisters becoming little women or women, all of that is a little surreal.
Yeah,
if not uncanny, then it has a surreal kind of feel.
Yeah, and I think that's what most people would connect to. So I think that's why they had that ending the way that it was.
So would you guys say that there's a strong sense of, are we left with a sense of nihilism or the strong sense of hopelessness or nothingness by the end of the film? It seems as if your team, you know, very deliberately staged that, right? That's what you're deliberately kind of hailing. But maybe you could say more about what you were intrigued by as you're trying to piece this together.
I think we just found it fitting because in the game there are these areas called safe rooms where everyone's supposed to be able to gather, but you don't see anyone outside the game. You don't see Chicago Ted. You don't see anyone else that says, oh, we made it or we're going this place. You don't ever see them there.
Right.
So it's kind of fitting that we thought that just everyone should
Never
make it out of the room.
No, make it out of the room, yeah. So to produce a song like this, it takes obviously many components, many parts. Even though the end product is only like 2 minutes, there's so much labor that goes into that 2 minutes. Now, I think you were going to say something about why, about the lyrics and the sort of turn to focus on the narrative of the game, when that was such a scorn, such a malign part of this experience for the team, right? Why this particular turn?
It's worth noting too that like a lot of the links that Hassani has deal more with race.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more like
race is like the subtext.
Yeah, like we talk about James raps about the narrative story, which I mean, I don't think we had a problem with the narrative itself, like what we could piece together. It was like the gameplay, but so what I tried to do is kind of contextualize some of the storyline in like real world racial issues, such as like the first line is Afro said a literal deadbeat. Like that link will take you to article on the myth of the absent black father in culture, like stuff like that.
Afro's dad a literal deadbeat.
Yeah, and deals so much death you swear he got paid. I think it was linked to statistics, like talking about black unemployment, like stuff like that. So I thought it was interesting stuff like that. Like
So this is a example of where just if you're only lyrically engaged with the song, you may not get as much out of it as if you're sort of digitally engaged.